Television has given us many unforgettable shows, but few burned as brightly and as briefly as New York Undercover. From its explosive premiere in the mid-90s to its raw portrayal of street life, the show didn't just entertain, it rattled cages. It stirred the pot. It dared to show a side of America that television had long ignored. What follows is the rise, the fallout, and the scene that helped bring New York Undercover to its knees. How New York Undercover changed the game. In the early 1990s, television was stuck in a formula, but something was bubbling beneath the surface. Viewers were ready for stories that felt real, unpolished, and unfiltered. That's when Fox made its move. On September 8, 1994, New York Undercover exploded onto the screen. Not as just another cop drama, but as a bold reinvention of the genre. This wasn't about solving crimes for ratings. It was about pain, pride, identity, and the survival instinct of a city under pressure. Backed by Law and Order creator Dick Wolf, the series had pedigree, but what gave it soul was something deeper. Few know it was nearly called Uptown Undercover, a tribute to Uptown Records, the powerhouse label shaping 90s hip-hop and R&B. Its founder, Andre Harrell, wasn't just producing records, he was producing change. As executive producer on the show, he infused every scene with rhythm, relevance, and grit that no other show could touch. At its core were two street-smart detectives, J.C. Williams, brought to life by Malik Yoba, and Eddie Torres, played with fiery charm by Michael DeLorenzo. Stationed at New York's 4th Precinct, they faced the city's darkest corners: gangs, guns, drugs, and did it while carrying the weight of their own pasts. This wasn't just procedural, it was personal. What made it revolutionary? No major network drama had ever dared to cast two men of color in lead roles. That choice wasn't symbolic, it was seismic. But the show didn't rest on representation alone. The scripts had teeth, the pacing was sharp, the tension felt earned, and audiences across racial and cultural lines felt it. Casting, though, was no small feat. They needed stars who didn't just act, they belonged. Malik Yoba had the commanding presence of a man trying to hold it together. DeLorenzo lit up the screen with restless energy. Together, they sparked a chemistry that couldn't be faked. And then there was the music. At the end of each episode, Natalie's, a fictional nightclub, came alive with live performances. This wasn't background noise. It was the heartbeat of the show. Mary J. Blige, Aaliyah, 112. The soundtrack was just as vital as the storyline. But with success came pressure to evolve, to keep the audience guessing. By season 2, Lauren Velez entered the picture as Detective Nina Moreno. Her previous guest role as a Santeria follower had already turned heads. This time, she was here to stay, and her romantic storyline with Torres gave fans something deeper to hold on to. Then came season 3, and with it, a gut punch no one saw coming. Enter Jonathan LaPaglia as Detective Tommy McNamara, a new face with a different energy. And then, the unthinkable. In a finale that left jaws on the floor, both Torres and McNamara were gunned down in a ruthless bank robbery gone sideways. It wasn't just a twist, it was a turning point. Torres, a pillar of the series, was gone, and with him, part of the show's soul. Season 4 brought a storm of changes. The old cast was mostly swept away. Lieutenant Virginia Cooper vanished. A new team took over. Tommy Ford as Lieutenant Malcolm Barker, Marissa Ryan as Detective Nell Delaney, and Josh Hopkins as Alex Stone. Williams and Moreno remained, but the gritty street-level fire that once defined the show had dimmed. Still, New York Undercover held tight to its roots. It kept fighting to tell stories that mattered. Tales of fractured families, failed systems, and flawed heroes. It became a proving ground for future stars. J.K. Simmons showed up as Sergeant Treadway before pivoting to Law and Order. Michelle Hurd played two roles, first a tough ADA, then a hardened criminal. Jesse L. Martin and Ice-T, before their own Law and Order fame, each appeared as criminals in the series. That's what made New York Undercover more than just a show. It was a movement. It gave voice to the unheard. It honored the city's heartbeat. It confronted racism, trauma, addiction, and justice. Not with perfection, but with truth. These weren't superheroes in uniform. They were people, bruised by the system, fighting to stay human. The Meteoric Rise of New York Undercover. When New York Undercover premiered in 1994, it didn't just enter the lineup of police dramas, it crashed through the front door with swagger. It was gritty, unapologetic, and unlike anything viewers had seen before. In a sea of predictable cop shows, this one had soul, and it didn't take long for the world to notice. What fueled its meteoric rise wasn't just the gripping plots or dynamic characters, it was the rhythm. By 1995, the buzz was deafening. The impact had spread beyond the screen and into the streets. On September 19th of that year, the series dropped something that made history, a full soundtrack album. Titled simply New York Undercover, the compilation was more than a tie-in. It was a cultural statement. Released by Uptown Records and MCA Records, and executive produced by none other than Andre Harrell, the architect behind both the label and the show's identity, the album was a perfect fusion of hip-hop and R&B that pulsed with the show's spirit. Mary J. Blige's soul-stirring rendition of A Natural Woman, Monifa's heartfelt I Miss You, and the electrifying Jeeps, Lex Coos, Bimaz and Benz by Lost Boys turned the soundtrack into an extension of the series itself. And of course, James M. Toombs' unforgettable theme track sealed the vibe. As the seasons rolled on, the show's grip on pop culture only tightened. In 1998, fans were treated to a second musical chapter, New York Undercover, A Night at Natalie's. This release captured the smooth, sultry R&B sets from the show's iconic in-universe nightclub, Natalie's. Dropping on January 13th via MCA Records, the album featured giants like K-Ci and JoJo, Gerald Levert, Tina Marie, Brownstone, Tito Neves, and the legendary B.B. King. Even Michael DeLorenzo stepped up with a hauntingly beautiful track, Don't Let Me Be Lonely Tonight. New York Undercover had evolved into more than television. It was a full-fledged experience that blurred the lines between fiction and reality. But the show's influence didn't die when the credits rolled. Long after its final episode in 1999, its legacy echoed. Fans remembered. The characters, the music, the bold storytelling, it all lingered. And eventually, that lingering nostalgia turned into momentum. In December 2018, almost 25 years after the series first made waves, Deadline broke the news that New York Undercover might be making a comeback. Dick Wolf, the original mastermind, had partnered with ABC. Within days, the network ordered a pilot. But this wasn't some soft reboot. This was a full-fledged revival. The past would meet the future. The legacy would continue. By early 2019, the pieces were coming together. Malik Yoba was confirmed to return as J.C. Williams, now a seasoned veteran mentoring the next generation. Lauren Velez would reprise her role as Nina Moreno, retired but still tightly woven into the fabric of the old team. New blood entered the mix. Toby Sandeman and Otmara Marrero stepped in as lead detectives Nat Gilmore and Melissa Ortiz, and hip-hop legend MC Lyte joined as Lieutenant April Freeman, now at the helm of the unit. The revival promised to bridge eras, honoring what came before while breaking new ground. But just as hope surged, reality struck. In May 2019, fans were blindsided. ABC had passed on the reboot. Still, the story wasn't over. The team refused to let the dream die. The pilot was pitched to other networks and streamers. By early 2020, negotiations were still alive. Then, in July, a new spark emerged. Deadline reported that NBC Universal's streaming service, Peacock, was eyeing the revival. While the green light never came, one thing was clear. The conversation around New York Undercover had been reignited. Today, the original series still breathes. Digitally remastered in HD, it's streaming on Peacock and Hulu. Networks like VH1 and BET have replayed it over the years, allowing new generations to discover what made it so powerful. New York Undercover didn't just rise to fame because it dared to be different. It thrived because it spoke truth. It mirrored the struggles and hopes of a generation. And even decades later, that message still resonates, with grit, with heart, and with rhythm. Awards and top-rated episodes. The show's success was especially reflected in its recognition at the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People's Image Awards. Malik Yoba, who played Detective J.C. Williams, became a standout performer early in the show's run. His role as a dedicated father and officer earned him 3 consecutive wins for Outstanding Lead Actor in a drama series in 1996, 1997, and 1998. His portrayal brought depth to a character balancing street justice with parenting, and audiences connected with his emotional performance. Ice-T, who appeared in a supporting role, also took home the award for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a drama series in 1996. Beyond the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the show was also recognized by the ALMA Awards, which honor Latino contributions to entertainment. Michael DeLorenzo was nominated in 1998 for Outstanding Actor in a Drama Series. His performance was not just about action, but about portraying vulnerability. That same year, Luna Lauren Velez, who joined the show as Detective Nina Moreno, was nominated for Outstanding Actress in a Drama Series. The show itself was also nominated for Outstanding Drama Series in 1998. The behind-the-scenes talent also got attention. In 1998, the Motion Picture Sound Editors honored the series with a nomination for Best Sound Editing in Television Episodic, Effects, and Foley. Meanwhile, younger viewers were also taken into account. George Gore II, who played Gregory J.C. Williams' son, was nominated for several youth acting awards. In 1997, he was up for the Young Artist Award for Best Performance in a Drama Series, Young Actor. The following year, he received a Young Star Award nomination for Best Performance by a Young Actor in a Drama TV Series. As for episodes, there were several that stood out, both for their emotional content and strong storytelling. One of the most remembered is Fade Out, Season 3, Episode 13, where a young boy holds evidence of a crime on videotape. The detectives try to protect him, but the situation gets complicated when his mother turns out to be one of JC's former girlfriends. Another powerful episode was A Time of Faith 2, Season 3, Episode 2. Here, Williams suspects a respected pastor might be connected to a series of bombings. The emotional conflict and suspense keep the episode gripping. The show's later seasons also featured standout moments. In Going Native, Nina and Stone go undercover at a garbage company, while Nina and JC deal with the awkward consequences of being caught in an intimate moment by Gregory. Earlier episodes also left a mark. Student Affairs, Season 2, Episode 7, was another high point. In this case, Williams and Torres go undercover at a high school to investigate a crime. The mix of comedy and crime drama made it an audience favorite. The Season 3 finale, The Last Hurrah, was another major episode. The detectives take on a dangerous bank robbery crew, and big changes happen in the characters' lives. Torres and Moreno get married, bringing a touching moment right before a shocking turn in the story. Episodes like The Solomon Papers, Season 3, Episode 14, and Hubris. Season 3, Episode 19, dealt with complex stories involving the Federal Bureau of Investigation and bounty hunters, while also diving into the characters' personal lives. In Season 4, the series opened strong with Change, 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 where Lieutenant Barker brings in JC and Moreno to track down the armored car robber responsible for Torres's death. It was a turning point for the show's story and characters. Another notable episode, The Troubles. Season 4, Episode 12, explored Nina's emotional journey as she helps a fugitive's daughter while Stone faces personal danger. And of course, Tag, You're Dead. Season 2, Episode 2 offered a powerful storyline about a Bond salesman who claims self-defense after shooting 2 graffiti artists. It was one of those episodes that sparked conversation and challenged viewers to think beyond the surface. The blend of awards recognition and strong episodes made New York Undercover a special kind of series. Even today, fans look back on the show as a classic that gave voice to real stories. Show Cancellation and Controversies. As New York Undercover continued to break ground with its bold storytelling and diverse cast, things behind the scenes weren't as smooth. What started as a powerful cultural moment in television history began to unravel during the production of its 3rd season. On July 23, 1996, a major conflict erupted. It was supposed to be the first day of filming for the 3rd season, but something unusual happened. Both of the show's lead actors, Malik Yoba and Michael DeLorenzo, were absent. Instead of arriving on set, the two had joined forces to present a list of demands to creator and executive producer Dick Wolf. Their absence shocked the production team. The demands weren't small. They were asking for a raise from $40,000 to almost $100,000 per episode each, a number they believed reflected their value as lead stars on a successful network series. But the requests didn't stop there. DeLorenzo also wanted to direct a few episodes, hoping to have more creative influence on the series. Both actors wanted better working conditions, a gym, individual trailers, and improved food service on set. For them, these changes were about being treated as leading stars on a hit show. For Dick Wolf, however, the demands were unacceptable. Wolf's reaction was strong. He reportedly said the show was not Friends, referring to the popular NBC sitcom whose cast negotiated for million-dollar salaries. He was angry about what he saw as a threat to the stability of the production. In a harsh statement, Wolf described the joint holdout as a virus in the entertainment industry, accusing the actors of putting the entire show in jeopardy for personal gain. He didn't hesitate to threaten to write both characters out of the show entirely. The very next day, things escalated. Universal Television, the studio behind New York Undercover, filed a $1.2 million lawsuit against Yoba and DeLorenzo. They claimed the actors had breached their contracts and were causing delays that were costing the company an estimated $60,000 per day. It was clear that the disagreement had gone far beyond a normal salary negotiation. It had become a legal issue, one with the potential to damage the show's future. After 3 days of uncertainty and growing tension, both Yoba and DeLorenzo returned to the set. None of their demands were met. They continued filming under the terms of their original contracts. But, although production resumed, the atmosphere behind the scenes had changed. The trust between the actors and the producers had been shaken, and the fallout would soon become clear in the direction of the show's storyline. Toward the end of Season 3, a shocking plot twist confirmed that the tension had real consequences. Michael DeLorenzo's character, Detective Eddie Torres, was written out of the show. In a dramatic episode, Torres was killed in a car explosion, an exit that surprised fans and closed the door on one of the series' most popular characters. Meanwhile, Malik Yoba stayed on for the fourth season, but the show itself was changing. The fourth season introduced a largely new cast and shifted the tone of the series. With De Lorenzo gone and many familiar faces no longer part of the main team, the series tried to reinvent itself. New characters were brought in, including Lieutenant Malcolm Barker, played by Tommy Ford, and two new detectives, Nell Delaney and Alex Stone. The energy that once made the show stand out was different now. While some loyal fans continued to watch, ratings began to slip. Behind the scenes, there were still discussions about the possibility of a fifth season. Some believed that with enough adjustments and perhaps more returning characters, the show could recapture what it once had. But the audience numbers told a different story. By early 1999, it was clear that the show's momentum had faded. Looking back, the cancellation wasn't just about low ratings, it was also about lost chemistry. The original dynamic between Williams and Torres had been the heart of the show. When that partnership was broken, the show lost more than just a character. It lost the balance that made it special. Still, despite its sudden end and the behind-the-scenes controversies, New York Undercover left a mark. It opened doors for diverse storytelling in television and inspired future shows to reflect real communities and real struggles. Where are they now? Michael De Lorenzo, who played Detective Eddie Torres, was the passionate and unpredictable half of the show's main duo. After New York Undercover, he continued working steadily, especially in crime shows like Numbers, keeping his connection to the genre strong. In 2013, he took on a major role in the film The Employer, which earned him a Best Supporting Actor award at the Los Angeles Movie Awards. But De Lorenzo wasn't just acting, he was also directing. He helmed music videos for Chantal's Come Get It and Michael Mackay's Hold on My Heart, showing his range behind the camera. And in 2011, he released an original music album titled Rescue Me, proving that his creativity extended beyond acting. Malik Yoba, who portrayed J.C. Williams, was the only character to appear in every single episode. After the show ended, Yoba stayed in the spotlight with strong roles in series like Alphas, Designated Survivor, and 7 Seconds. He didn't just stick to acting, he created and performed in Harlem to Hollywood, an autobiographical play in which he portrayed 29 different characters and performed his own music. But life off-screen hasn't always been easy. Yoba was born with hereditary heart disease, and in 2019, he underwent a quadruple bypass surgery. The news shocked many fans. Thankfully, he recovered and turned his healing into something meaningful. Luna Lauren Velez gave one of the most emotional performances on the series as Detective Nina Moreno. After the series, Velez built an impressive career, taking on powerful roles in shows like Oz, where she played Dr. Gloria Nathan, and Dexter, where she portrayed Maria LaGuerta. Since 2010, she's been busy in film, with 12 movies to her name, including voicing Rio Morales in the animated Spider-Verse series. Her voice added warmth and depth to the mother of Miles Morales. Patty D'Arbanville, who played Lieutenant Virginia Cooper, was the hard-nosed, by-the-book leader of the precinct. After her exit from the series following Season 3, she stayed active in television, taking on roles in shows like Guiding Light, Third Watch, and Rescue Me. She also made a mark in film, appearing in Perfect Stranger alongside Halle Berry and Bruce Willis. While her acting work slowed in the late 2010s, she still popped up in episodes of The Sinner and Billions. Off-screen, D'Arbanville has been enjoying life. Together, this cast helped create something truly unique with New York Undercover. Though the show ended in 1999, its stars have continued building their legacies in film, television, theater, and beyond. For fans, the show's memory lives on, and so do the stories of the people who made it great.